The MPS officers who have been charged today are not focused on preventing crime. Rather, the complaints charge these MPS officers with engaging in transnational repression schemes targeting members of the Chinese diaspora community in New York City and elsewhere in the United States. The MPS has repeatedly and flagrantly violated our nation's sovereignty, including by opening and operating a police station in the middle of New York City. We cannot and will not tolerate the Chinese government's persecution of pro-democracy activists who have sought refuge in this country. The secret police station appears to have had a more sinister use. On at least one occasion, an official with the Chinese National Police directed one of the defendants, a U.S. citizen who worked at the secret police station, to help locate a pro-democracy activist of Chinese descent living in California. In other words, the Chinese National Police appear to have been using the station to track a U.S. resident on U.S. soil. The two defendants, whose arrests we're announcing today, destroyed evidence of their communications with the Chinese National Police when they learned of the FBI's investigation. These two defendants knew they had something to hide, and they obstructed justice in an attempt to prevent the FBI from learning the full extent of what they were up to. The defendants, Jianwang and Chen Jinping, were arrested earlier this morning at their homes in New York City. As alleged, the defendants worked together to establish an overseas police station in Manhattan's Chinatown on behalf of the Fuzhou branch of the Chinese government's National Police Force, the MPS. These defendants did China's bidding in secret while acting under the direction and control of an MPS official in China. Before helping to open the police station in early 2022, the defendant, Jianwang, had a long-standing relationship of trust with PRC law enforcement, including the MPS. In 2018, Liu was enlisted in efforts to cause a purported Chinese fugitive to return to China. The victim of that effort reported that he was repeatedly harassed to return to China. That victim received threats of violence against his family in the United States, and MPS officers harassed the victim's family in China. Last October, FBI agents conducted a judicially authorized search of the secret police station and interviewed both Liu and Chen and seized their phones. In subsequent interviews with agents, Liu and Chen admitted that they had deleted communications with the MPS official from their phones after learning about the ongoing FBI investigation. As we allege, that is obstruction of justice. The defendants' actions under the direction of the Chinese government are flagrant violations of American sovereignty. And thanks to our investigation and arrest today with the FBI, the defendants will be held accountable, and the MPS is on notice that we will not tolerate similar threats to our national sovereignty. The second complaint I'm announcing charges 34 MPS officers who belong to a task force called the 912 Special Project Working Group. This task force isn't a normal police force. It doesn't protect people or combat crimes. It commits crimes, targeting Chinese democracy activists and dissidents located outside of the PRC, including right here in New York City. This task force operates as an internet troll farm, creating thousands of fake online personas, which they use in a coordinated plot to harass, disparage, and threaten dissidents and activists throughout the world. People who the PRC perceives as threats to the legitimacy of the Chinese Communist Party. This task force isn't a normal police force. It doesn't protect people or combat crimes. It commits crimes, targeting Chinese democracy activists and dissidents located outside of the PRC, including right here in New York City.
Additionally, 10 individuals, including 6 MPS officials, have been charged for their role in helping the Chinese government censor and silence free speech of users of a U.S.-based tech company's platform. The Chinese Communist Party was attempting to censor politically sensitive topics that are unacceptable to the PRC government, including the Tiananmen Square massacre.
It is a long overdue law enforcement action to push back against China's transnational repression that have been taking place in the homeland here in the United States and as well as in Europe. The law enforcement, policymakers, governments in various capitals have been somewhat reluctant to take action on issues like this, threatening the well-being of American citizens, trying to censor, threaten, intimidate those who have a critical point of view towards the CCP in Beijing. So it is a positive step to the right direction. These kind of behaviors should not be tolerated. It's about our sovereignty. It's about our way of life. It's about our freedom. In America, people should not be fearful of speaking their mind, whether it be the critical views of our own government or any foreign government for that matter. The abrasiveness and their willingness to take that kind of actions on American soil is bone-chilling. The way that they set it up, it sounds very innocuous to the extent helping the Chinese community. But if you look at the essence of the way that these police stations, satellite police stations operate, it clearly shows that they are here to silence critiques or control American people's way of life, our freedom, freedom to speak our mind, freedom to share thoughts or express our opinion. And much of those concerns, opinions been expressed peacefully. We're talking about writing, speaking, posting social media messages. And that should not, this shows deep insecurity that the Chinese leadership possess. So they should not be allowed to suppress our sense of security with their own sense of insecurity. These kind of malign activities, if goes without punished, then we will see bigger issues. I think that we're on the right track. And this also gives a confidence to those who are willing to risk their lives and well-beings to speak their mind or do their jobs, fulfill their professional obligation. This kind of law enforcement actions definitely helps to build some confidence among those activists risking their well-being and family safety, personal safety to speak out against the repression underway in China. The Beijing will deny, Beijing will accuse, Beijing even tried to play racism card or play whataboutism, as they often do. They will start name calling. They may even start announcing additional sanctions. In some instances, individuals have been sanctioned more than once. That's what they do. So we need to care less about what they say, what they respond. We need to keep doing the right thing, which is to hold those bad actors to account. We need to make it very clear diplomatically to the Chinese, essentially, lack of a better term, we need to tell them to knock it off. The Europeans need to do the same thing. Putting this kind of serious issues to the back burner, not being coherent and bold to push back will help to see more of the same. That's very important. And then two, we need to look into the ways to hold the bad actors to account.